What is up, guys? So I had Matt Hammer, the Faster Pastor. I loved the chats with him. He's so insightful, such a cool dude. But he wanted to give me some inside information on a lot of the locals, talk about Southwick with it coming up. And I just haven't chatted with him for a long time. So check out Matt Hammer. As always, this dude is awesome. Don't forget to check out my sponsors, Nano-Extreme, best pain solution ever. Head over to Nano-Extreme, use code COOKSY for free shipping. Coach Rob has got his energy fuel hydration drink. This stuff's so good. Head over to Complete Racing Solutions and get some energy fuel. Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts, just a really cool company. Head over there and check out their stuff or at ridestrap.com. Alias MX gear, the 2026 stuff is dropping, I think tomorrow. So by the time you're watching this, you might want to head over to Alias MX and check out the new gear. Precision Transport, best shipping company out there. Family owned, reasonably priced. Hit up pretransport.com and they'll get you dialed in.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, mob, I got one of my favorites. We've got the Faster Pastor, Matt Hammer. What is happening, brother?
What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I just, with Southwick this week, that's your home track. And,
Yep.
you had last year, that's kind of where I found out who you were. We met after
Right.
you got docked for sound. But yeah, I just wanted to get you on. You're not racing this year, right? What's going on with you?
Yeah. I'm not racing this year. I just took some time off. Believe it or not, I actually haven't even ridden since like last October. It's been a while. Not because of faint of heart. I absolutely love the sport. It's just I've been switching a little bit of different direction since I started the ministry and really been taking music seriously. So obviously balancing my full-time job as a firefighter, but when I'm not there, I've been really grinding on the ministry and music, trying to make something there. But when the time's right, I like to race again and get back out there. I love it. I've been following all the races, all the rounds, and watching all your videos. Like, awesome, you're doing a really great job. Just telling the truth and really putting out there what everyone needs to hear, especially, supporting the privateers and everything, which is awesome. So I'm excited to get in the show, talk about things, talk about Southwick, and anything else that you want to bring up.
Well, yeah, while we're getting into that, I got to ask you, did it leave a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth last year after getting your fast lap taken? Is that part of the reason? Did it kind of steal a little bit of the thunder of you wanting to go racing?
It did. I mean, it definitely stung, because I've had to put so much time, and I don't like to make like a story about it, this and that, me, but it's just when you understand like how much time and effort it takes as a family to go forward and get to one of these races. It just takes thousands of dollars just to show up and get there. And and I had to figure out my schedule and balance it and try to get people to work my tours for me at the firehouse, and I did. And at first I got denied, and I showed up as an alternate, and they put me in last second, and I qualified through time. I believe I had a 2:10, 1:17, and that would have had me qualified 29th into the show, right in. And then it got taken away because of sound test. They just like pulled me over and like, oh, your bike's too loud. We're removing this time. So that happened. Went to the LCQ. Got a pretty good start, but someone crashed right in front of me in the first turn. And that was it. I caught up to like, I don't even remember. I was like dead last and caught up to, I don't know if it was around 12th or something like that, but it was a lot. It's definitely a bummer and a heartbreak, but I feel like, for me, there's a Bible verse, like God works all things together for the greater good. And I think this was his like nudge saying, hey, Matt, like I want you to be a part of motocross, but let's step back, focus on the ministry, focus on the music that you're creating for me, and trying to reach people that way. But I still want to race and ride at the right time, but just taking a little bit of a step back right now.
Did it give you any kind of flashback when you saw the guy, Larry Fortin? Do you know Larry?
So I don't know him closely, but I know he's from like New England, and it was funny because actually in the time qualifier last year, he was lined up right next to me, and I remember he had a little bit of a run-in with one of the AMA's officials then. I guess like he qualified in a few other rounds, and he was in the A group or something, and one of the AMA officials was like, pointing him out, and this was like right before the first time qualifier, and he was like, "You're supposed to be in A group," and he was just like, well, I'm in B. It had me in B. He's like, well, they made a mistake, and I guess they put him in B. And this was quiet because the engines were still quiet at this point, so everyone in the line could hear, and like all the attention was on like him and the AMA official. And he's like, well, if you stay here, then you have to stay in B the rest of the season. You know what you're doing, right? Because you're getting the clean track and everything else. And he just was like, I'm gonna stay here then. And he's like, all right, you're getting B every rest round for the rest of the year. So that was that was it. But he crushed it. He got a really good time. I believe it was like around a 209, qualified in the 20s. So he was smooth. But it was one of those moments like everyone was kind of had a little spotlight on him in time qualifying that last year in the morning.
Yeah, well, that sucked for him at High Point. Could you imagine being number one overall, and then you go to the second session, they shake your hand, they tell you you're in, you got it, you go out there looking for laps, you come back and find out it was gone. Like, how do
Right.
you send the guy out there in that second session without telling him?
Right. It's it's just wrong. It's just blatantly wrong. It's tough. Like I'm not saying that it's it's the way to look at it is, the guys in the A group, they have a lot of the best stuff already. The factory bikes, the factory support, all this stuff, and their bikes are way better than anything that we could ever build as a privateer. Granted, sometimes it plays in our favor where we'll get the smoother track and be able to lay down a faster time, but it's not always like that. They do switch it, and sometimes we get the rougher track. It just depends. And for him to go out there, crush that lap, get that time, like be ahead of Degan, and then just, from what you said, and then just be like, all right, you're out. That time doesn't count. Like saying it's a sector time is just like, come on. Like it can't be more blatant in your face. Like we don't want that happening, and we're not going to let that happen. And it's just brutal. I feel for the kid. I honestly do, because the families, everyone puts so much time and money just to show up. That's not counting all the stuff you got to do to your bike. So I feel for him, but the kid, he's talented, and I'm sure he'll come back strong. But it's gotta be eating him up. So I'm sure he's probably gonna want to come into Southwick and really crush it.
Well, and what's frustrating for Larry is he signed up for Southwick, and then after all that debacle at High Point, all of a sudden he didn't make it in. He didn't make the cut. So now he's on the wait list, which I find that a bit suspicious.
Right. I didn't even hear about that. So this is all new to me right now that you're saying that, and it's just crazy. It's a lot of select and a lot of politics who should go in. Like for example, last year when I was trying to qualify and I signed up months in advance, right, Chris? And there was kids who signed up later than me that got in, and it's just like luck of the draw, and I didn't get it. And I actually said this to AMA official, and I tried emailing him a bunch of times. He didn't respond, so I kept calling him. I like blew up the phone, and finally he picked up. And I ran it like to him, like, why did this person get in? And why did this person get in? And I was saying, like, they signed up later than me. I have proof. I have friends that are telling me. And I'm not trying to put the people who got in on blast because they're good people. It's not their fault. But it's just the system is broken, and it's not fair to all the guys. And he was like, well, we have to keep certain spots, and it's on our discretion who we select and put in. So it's not all about if you just sign up first. It's not like that. They're at the end of the day selecting who they want in the event and not in the event.
Yeah, see, I'm okay with a certain amount of that. Like the guys, like if the Coonan brothers were able to come over, you got to put them in. You can't not have the Coonan brothers.
Of course.
But if you had a set standard where you say, okay, the top 30, and then we've got 5 spots on when you sign up, and then show the list of, okay, well, you're 6th, 7th, and 8th. So you at least, if there was some transparency, I'm fine with it. I'm okay with selecting people, but you've got to have some transparency in that whole system. Like you said, thousands and thousands of dollars to prep, to get there, to not know within 3 days whether you're in. I can't imagine how that feels.
Yeah. And did they say he was an alternate, Chris? Do you know?
I think he is an alternate. So I think he said he's going to go try and show up. He didn't want me making a big deal of this because he wants to get in and he wants to race. But if not, I think he's going to go to I guess the Canada race isn't too far from there.
Yeah. It's not too far after. You see a lot of guys going up to Canada right after, I believe.
Yeah, so if he doesn't get in, I think he's just going to load up and go to Canada.
It's still disappointing because that's like the hometown race where all the New England guys want to go, and they all rip because we all race there, we all ride there against each other all year. So we got the track pretty dialed. So it's like our shot to really perform and do well. One thing I want to mention, like I showed up last year. I believe I was like 2nd or 3rd alternate, and I got in by like this. I was the last alternate to get in. So it can't happen. It's just you don't know though. That's the problem. And you're waiting there. Like I remember sitting up there before tech inspection. I was sitting up there, Chris, for like an hour and a half. Like I had my bike just pulled to the side, just kind of like praying that there would be a space to get in. It's just like the nerves of all the time that it takes just to get there. So if he lives local, send it, go. But it is kind of one of those things you don't know if that spot's secured. And there's a lot of guys doing it, because there was guys behind me, Chris, that didn't get in, and they were so bummed. Like there was a line of guys even behind me as alternates. So they have guys on guys on guys just stacked.
Yeah, it's crazy. And once you've made it to that race, you've already spent all those thousands of dollars to get your bike ready, to be there, to travel. And a lot of the guys are local, but some aren't. But anyway, speaking of locals,
Right.
so they flipped the order this year. So this year, last year, you guys, the 250s went first, so you got that clean track. Now the
Right.
450B guys are going to have that clean track. Who are some locals we should watch for to put up a good time?
Yeah, that's it's. I guess we gotta see who's racing the 450 class, and I'm taking a look at this list right now as we speak. But as I'm going through it, it's looking like, I think Tony LaRusso, he's I believe he's in his 50s, but he's gonna rip. I think he's gonna lay down a really fast time. He's riding really good. He's been doing good stuff at NESC. I expect Jason Brooks. I've been racing him since I was a kid. He'll definitely lay down a fast time, get out there. I definitely keep your eyes on him. Let's see who else is in here as I'm scrolling down.
A guy that caught my attention, and I
Right.
don't know much about him. I first saw him last year at Loretta's. This big dude that rides vet class, Shane Kelleher. I don't know much about this big badass.
I don't know him too well. I have raced him in like NESC and raced him in some other events, but I don't know him that well. I've raced him. You know how it is. It's funny because you could line up next to the guy, race him all day, but you don't really say a word. Nothing bad to say about him, but I just don't know him well enough to know. But I always want to see the New England guys, do well, or anyone in the area. It's cool to see them be able to have a shot to run up front and really get that result, and be out there. And just looking at this list too, I see Josh Toth. I know he comes from like a GNC background. He should rip. I know that I think the Rendellas are definitely fast. I've raced them in 2023 when I was in the 450 class. They got in too, I believe. And who else we got in here? Yeah, I think James Harrington will go really good. He has a shot at qualifying for sure. He's qualified, I believe, for another event. I don't know if I think he qualified for Colorado this year as well. So we got some New England guys out there, but not like as many as I suspected in the 450 class right now as I'm looking at this provisional lineup.
Well, and I almost wonder if that was on purpose to make sure this is the race they flip it and put the 450s first, because you got a lot of fast young kids in the 250 class, but then they're going to get the track after 3 sessions have already hit it when they go to the 250B. How much does that track drop? Like from the first session to the second session, how many seconds do you lose on Southwick?
A lot, a ton. The first lining up on that gate, that you have to get that time within that first few laps. Like the moment that light goes green, you're like, I have to do this, because if you don't, in that second time qualifier, it's like, all right, I'm just out here for fun, just to test my bike, get a little idea for the motos or maybe the LCQ. It's just not possible. Like the track you'd have to absolutely send it or have crazy suspension to do it. It's very unlikely, because I won't say it's not possible. It's very, very unlikely. The track gets like kickers everywhere. You have rollers everywhere. It just slows down tremendously. So you can get a really good time when the berms are built up. Nothing's blown out yet, because you have some guys like sending these turns so hard and just wrecking all the lines. So the first time is essential for all these guys. I've done it in both. Like I've qualified only in the first session every time I've been there. I've never qualified in the second session. Like I've qualified in 250B when I was second before, back in 2016. I've qualified, I've done 450. So it's like a lot of stuff has to be first session, just the way that it rolls. It's crazy. When I say 450, I did get in as an alternate as a 450, but I'm just saying, like, you really know the first session is where it's at. That's it. It just gets like too rough.
So if they wanted to kind of level the playing field a little bit, could they go, if they sent everybody out for 10 minutes before, and then, like do a 10-minute sessions that's untimed and then get into it, would it level the playing field more? Does the track even out, or does it just keep getting worse?
I think it keeps getting worse. It actually deteriorates really fast. Like even by the end of the first session, you're like, you want to get in those first laps. Like let's say you're 450, right? After B group, the 450A guys, they want to get their time within those first few laps, because even the B group hammering on it for the 15 minutes is going to take a damper. Like some of those lines are going to be blown out and everything else. Like I remember one year, I believe Mike Satilli qualified first in I don't know if it was 2011, 2012. He qualified in front of like Dungey and Villapoto. So it really makes a difference on this track specifically because how rough it can get.
Yeah, that was awesome when he did that. I remember that they did an interview for him on TV. I was like, "Who's this guy?" But that's what's cool about Southwick because you do get these locals, and that's part of the fun. And like you said, sometimes it sucks, and you guys are dealing with a lot. But I don't know. I like it with the race order change. So now you got Eli and Jett. Now they're going to get a better track than they normally would. Does this
Right.
change the racing in that 450 class?
I don't know if it changes it. I think Jett's on another level right now. I've been watching all the races, keeping up on it, and it's just like Jett's just riding so good. I like, the only times Eli had something for him that I've seen so far was the first round when we went to Fox Raceway in that moto where he was on him, like all over him with that beast mode charge. But unfortunately, just a little bit short. He couldn't get around him. Like he had the speed, but the problem is like you can tail somebody and be right behind them, but then getting around them is a whole different ball game because you have to click it up another notch to find that extra pace to get around them. And really, I haven't seen someone just rip by Jett when he's at his A game as of yet. He's just that alien-like speed right now. And then we've seen Eli ride really well at Colorado, which in that I believe it was it the second moto? I think it was the second moto, and he was riding really good behind him, super close, all over him, but just couldn't make that pass. And it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, like we got two different styles. Eli's like that older bulldog style, sends it, super aggressive, and then Jett's like so perfect, just not making mistakes. And I just see like Jett not making those mistakes, I believe, is giving him that extra time to keep that little bit of a cushion between him and Eli. I think it's a changing of the guard, a changing of the generation. I want to see Eli win. Like I'm rooting for Eli. I want to see it more be like more of a run up front, but until he does it right now, it's tough. Like we saw in Supercross, but Supercross is different than outdoors as well. You have guys that are better at Supercross. It's tighter. There's a little more variables there. What do you think?
Jett has this thing where he rides around at 90%, and then you see Eli coming, and then all of a sudden when Eli gets there, he's able to find a little bit more. I've never seen a guy in the history of the sport who's been able to adjust and just go 100% for the 3 laps that he has to, and then do just enough to win. It's absolutely crazy. Deegan has noticed it and has started trying to kind of learn that same skill. But you even hear James Stewart announcing, he doesn't quite get it because he's like, I don't even know how you do that. And when you get somebody like James Stewart questioning, wait, is that even possible? But if you see the lap times, people go, oh, that wasn't beast mode. Well, no, it's just Jett can go with him when he chooses. And then when Eli backs out, he backs out. He doesn't take unnecessary risk. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's very wise. Like he's one of the smartest riders out there. He's very calculated. I think the only real mistake that we saw him make was last year at Hangtown when he crashed out. He's just like, oh, I could do this jump, or maybe I believe they actually switched it. They made a change on it, and he wasn't aware of it. But I guess he should have saw something on the parade lap, miscalculation. But for the most part, Jett is just like solid. He doesn't make those silly mistakes. He's wise beyond his years, and it makes me wonder what he's going to be like as this generation goes on because he's breaking records. He's riding so good, and when I watch him, Chris, like I don't see anyone's riding technique that comes close to him besides Sexton. Like to me, the best technique out there is Jett Lawrence and then Chase Sexton. It's just like he floats. When you watch Jett, he just floats. Like he's just hopping things. He's wheel tapping things. And, we saw some of this from the greats back in the day. We saw Stu doing this. We saw Eli doing this. He was the one that was really, bringing that style from a mountain bike background, jumping all the braking bumps, wheel tapping stuff. But Jett is like taking that and now making it look even more effortless. But if I think anyone has a shot, I think Eli's best shot to beat Jett is this weekend on this track.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions because I think
Right.
if Eli doesn't win here, I don't see him getting a win the rest of the year. They got Sexton coming back at Redbud, but how focused is he really? Is he just collecting his check? What do you think about Sexton coming back next week?
Sexton has the speed and he rides amazing. It's just the problem with what I've seen so far is he just needs to have that consistency. He makes these mistakes that oftentimes you see people make in the amateurs, and he's a pro, he's seasoned, he's a multi-time champion now, and it's like you can't be making those mistakes at that level because all his competitors aren't making those mistakes. Like Jett isn't making those mistakes. Hunter's not making those mistakes. Eli's not making those mistakes. Cooper Webb's not making those mistakes. And like that's the reason why he lost the Supercross title was because of mistakes. It's crazy that it came down to it, you know? Like if in hindsight, you know, if he didn't crash out that one round and he stayed behind Webb in second place and took the overall for first place, that could have been enough right there. But you know, Sexton has amazing speed, and when he's on, he's on. It's just like if he can get that consistency, he could run up front. But I don't feel confident betting on him until I see the lap times, until I see how he's riding and things are clicking. But with what he has going on, like he could be checked out. But from what we've seen in the past, I think he has a lot of like an ego in a good way. He trains really hard. He has great discipline. So I think he's going to want to go out there and prove a point like, hey, I could beat Jett. Hey, I can beat Hunter. Hey, I could beat Eli. Even if he's not completely happy with the bike, I don't think the end of the contract, he's going to just back off like some other guys would.
No, that is one thing about Sexton. When he was with Honda, he went all the way till the end. Until that last day, he gave him everything. And that's why I was kind of surprised when he pulled out of the series. And I know he was banged up and he had that good crash. Right. But I think if the title was still on the line, he'd have still been out there racing. But he's like, you know what? I've done more races than anyone else in the past 3 years. And he's not just racing at 10th place, 15th place. At that higher level, I can't imagine the toll that it's taken on him physically and mentally. That's a lot, man.
It's a ton. It's a ton. And it's got to be frustrating, too, because like everyone's like, oh, him and Jett. Jett keeps getting the best of him. And I know he really wants to prove otherwise, like, hey, I can get the best of him. And even you see that interview where Jett commented on who was going to win the Supercross title, and it was like between him and Webb, and he's like, yeah, I pick Webb because he's way more consistent. Like Chase makes those mistakes, you know, and like it's crazy when Jett said that on TV, like in that interview, you know. I know that has to like eat at the rider, you know. It's got to be tough. You see that?
I do remember that, and I remember going, oh boy, that's got to make Sexton mad. Whew.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Sexton's new teammate next year, Jorge Prado. So This is your reigning. This is not some guy who's finished his career and just came over here for fun. He's in the prime of his career. He won 2 MXGP championships back to back. Came over here. We thought he was going to struggle in Supercross. No big deal, but he hurts his shoulder. But what he's doing outdoors, this is surprising. He was predicted, like when they hired him, they paid him money to be battling with Eli, with Jett for wins. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think there's the transition he's not acclimated to. I think there's a few things going on. And the first one, coming to the States is completely different than being in Europe. The tracks are way different. They're prepped different. They're more narrow. You have a lot less time on the track, so he doesn't have the qualifying day before to get all that extra track time. And it's tough, even coming like from a privateer. Like when I was racing different nationals, it's tough going on a track you've never seen before and getting 10 minutes and then having to lay down the fastest lap of your life. Like you really don't know the track. I mean, granted, a lot of these guys get into press day, but you still don't really know the track because by the time you go out in first qualifying, the track's different than press day. So he's definitely struggling with acclimating to the tracks, and then he's not completely comfortable on the chassis. I think just I was watching the podcast with Ken Roxon and JB and Adam Cicerello, and it was like, I know Kenny was talking about him not being completely comfortable on that chassis. He's like, I think the engine's fast enough, but I think right now he's just not acclimated from being on KTM for so long and then switching to gas and now going to Kawasaki. It's a completely different bike. Like I've ridden KTM before I was on Yamaha, and I rode my friend's Kawasaki, and like they're nothing alike. They're so different. Like not even close. Like that steel frame compared to the aluminum frame is way different. Plus the motor characteristics are different, even though they're on a lot higher level machinery than I would be. It's still a difference though. So he's got to be frustrated. It's got to be eating him up, being the defending champ, beating guys like, Geyser and Roman Febvre. And, I know Hurlings was out there. Like he's the guy. He should be up there with Jett and Eli and running up front. But I honestly, Chris, I wish I saw him on a gas or a KTM. I feel like if he was on that, he could have performed a lot better. Like I don't know if you recall Redbud when MX Nations, I believe it was 2017, when he pulled like every hole shot on his KTM 250 and was leading in front of our guys. Like I think, I don't know if it was AP on that year. I don't know if it was Tomac, but we had a lot of great guys and he was crushing it. So I know he has the speed, but he's not happy. And when you don't have that confidence on the bike, you're not going to push because you don't want to go down and get hurt.
Yeah, and I think another thing that people are totally overlooking is in his GP career, he historically struggled on the really hot days. And in the
Right.
United States, it's way warmer than it is in Europe. Like
True.
it's a hot summer, and I think it's wearing on him, and it's a tighter schedule. They just boom, boom, moto after moto, and like you said, it's a little different. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, if I was Kawasaki and I signed off on paying him all that money, I'd be stressed out right now because there's got to be some executives that are not getting what they paid for.
What do you think's going to happen? Do you think he's going to stay there? Or do you think he's going to try to breach contract?
Oh no, he's got 2 more years. They're going to keep him. I mean, at this point, I mean, they have to go with him. I don't know what do you can't do anything else. There's really nobody else you could get with more potential to come in and replace him, and you'd have to pay him to go away. Do you really want to do that, or do you just try and fix it? So, I mean, I think they're going to try and fix it, depending. Unless, I mean, if it gets really bad, if he can't get top tens, we got problems. But I think he's going to be much better this weekend. Typically, all the European guys do better at Southwick for sand reasons or whatever reasons. I think we're going to see flashes of him inside the top five. I don't know if he'll finish inside the top five, but I think we're going to see him run better this weekend. What do you think?
Um, I think flip a coin, and the reason why I'm saying the reason why I'm saying that is only he should perform better at Southwick just off of the GPs. They have more sand tracks. They ride a lot more sand. They're comfortable in the sand compared to our guys. But Southwick's a different beast. It's not like a normal sand track. It has a hard packed base, so you're getting kickers and then you're getting rollers. So it's not. It's like slippery. It's weird. Like it's not. I know they're adding a lot of sand to the track. They add like tons and tons of sands before the national, like just truckloads and truckloads like filled, but it still isn't like that deep beach sand. It's its own beast, and the only way to really get used to it is to ride it. And I don't know how much time Jorge even has on this track. Do you know if if he rode it before or anything like that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would imagine he'll ride press day. But
Right.
another guy that's coming back is Justin Barcia. Rumor is he's been riding a stock bike. Now, if I'm Kawasaki and I'm paying Prado, do I lose my mind if Barcia comes off the bench and beats him?
I would say so. I mean, they got to be, like I said, they got to be frustrated. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how this Kawasaki deal pans out. I know he's locked in, but I wonder if Prado would want to breach contract and be like, hey, give me a KTM, give me a gas guy, give me a Husky, like just get me back on that machine that I'm used to, because he's got to be frustrated. Like it's an ego thing too, because he's a champion. He's a multi-time champ, 250 and 450 in the GPs. So I think JB, like Justin Barcia, he rips there. He's ridden there as a kid. He knows the track well, and he has that send it style. He's gonna be fast. He's always been fast there. Because I've seen him racing there on 65s, 85s as I've grown up. And watching him, and he's just been flying. So I see him coming in swinging. I don't know where his fitness will be at, and I don't know how he'll hold that pace. I think maybe he can get a start, run up front for a bit, but to be up front and hold it, that's a different ball game, especially if he's not running the factory setup like you're saying, like a completely factory setup.
Yeah, well, and you got to remember, you got Tomac, both Lawrences, AP, Justin Cooper, who's also going to be really fast there.
Oh, he's going to fly.
I mean, that's just 5 guys. Can you get in that top 5? I mean, that's a big ask.
I don't see top 5. I see top 10. I see top 10 realistically, like back in 10s, but then finishing maybe 12th or so because of his fitness. But I think he could run the pace of top 10, like if you see him qualify pretty well. You know who could be good too, Chris? I think Cooper Webb could be good this weekend. I know Justin Cooper is going to fly. He always flies. And the only reason why I'm bringing up Cooper Webb because I raced him a while ago there at a area qualifier. And he goes good there. Like, he goes really good. And he was on a 250. It was like, I believe it was like the Open A class back in the day. And he ripped. Like, he got a pretty mid start and he came up through the pack. I have a helmet cam, or he was on a helmet cam, and he like passed me, like, and went by, and I'm like, oh, he's moving. And he beat Jeremy Martin back there back in the day at Southwick. I think he likes it because it's a tighter track. The speeds aren't as high except down like Henry Highway in a few spots, but for the most part there's a lot of tighter sections, and Webb really does well when the speeds are a little bit slower. You see him up front, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a good result in this weekend, better than usual.
Well, and I think he's just out there collecting points, riding for a paycheck. I mean, he already did his job. He won the Supercross championship. That's what he wanted. And I feel
Right.
like I've not seen a guy happier out there just riding around where he just battles where he feels like battling and he just doesn't care. But he's a champion. And if he decides to, people forget he had an outdoor championship in 250s. If he decides to go, he can be one of those top guys.
He can. I think he has a good shot, like I said, at Southwick with those speeds being slower. I see him usually on the hard pack, faster tracks is where he tends to struggle a little bit at those higher speeds. But on the slower type tracks and the softer terrain, he starts to wick it up.
Yeah. Anyone else in the 450 class you might want to watch for this weekend?
Um, I'm just looking at this entry list right now, and I think there's some guys in the 250 that I talk about, but 450, I know Justin. I can't like number 444. He's really good. He rides a lot with Chris Canning, and he's in the provisional entry list right now. He rips. He spent a lot of time with Canning here practicing, so he should go really good and definitely
Is Canning
qualify.
on there?
I'm looking right now. He should be. I know he was practicing. I saw a video of him. It came up on my feed of him practicing with a lot of the New England guys. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't, but I don't see him at this very second.
Yeah, I didn't
but
see him. I saw he raced a Loretta's regional, and I think he's doing Loretta's, but I don't know why. Because on any given day, I feel like Chris Canning, if he gets a start, he can run in the top 10 at Southwick no matter who's out there. It doesn't matter. He could be top 10. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't see him on the entry list right now, but maybe he was an alternate. I don't know, but
yeah.
maybe he's yeah. We'll see. We'll see on on the day of when we check that list. Time qualifier number 1.
Yeah, so last year, Deegan, there was all this talk coming in about how he couldn't ride sand. This is where they were going to get him. He put in that extra effort, came out there and not just held suit. He hammered those guys.
He did. He did.
Now, this year, he hasn't put that kind of focus on it. It's kind of like, okay, he can ride the sand. Does he have a little bit of a letdown and get beat here? Because Tom Vial's really fast here.
I think Deegan's got it handled if he can get the starts. I think his fitness is second to none. I think that's what's going to stand out at this track, even if he's not the fastest. Which I still think he'll be the fastest because when we watched that round, remember that scrub past Levi Kitchen last year in that first lap, like
Incredible.
crazy, It was crazy.
Incredible. How did he hold on? Like that was, if you showed that to me in a movie, I'd be like, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how he kept it up, honestly. Like he was completely sideways going over that roller. And that roller's a little sketchy because like you're coming over that tabletop and then you drop down. It's almost like gravity cavity, and then you're turning up that roller so your wheels are like washing out naturally. So your bike wants to scrub, but he just like laid it flat, completely sideways. And I think Levi was caught off guard. He's like, whoa, I didn't even realize you're there. And he just checked out. I think he's going to fly. I think he's got the mental edge, the confidence. He's just in a league of his own right now. I think the only person that has a shot at beating him is Vial or Shimoda because both have taken moto wins here and overalls. And a lot of people sleep on that. Joe won a moto last year. I think he went 9-1 there last year. And Vial was up front. He's always on the podium here. He excels at this track. It's just, we just got to see if Deegan gets the start or not. That's kind of the thing. If he gets the start, it might just, turn the TV off. But if he doesn't, it's going to be exciting. If we get Shimoda or Vial out front, and then Deegan has to charge through, that would be an optimal session to watch of a race. But I think he's got it. What do you think, though?
I don't know how you can pick against him. I mean, the things that he's done this year and the fact that he proved he can ride sand last year, I think you'd be an idiot to pick anyone else. With that said, if he gets a bad start and Vial or Kitchen or Shimoda can check out, they might win a moto. I don't see an overall, but I could see one of them taking a moto from him. But yeah, I don't know. He's just too good right now. And with Hymas is the one guy who could kind of go with him on speed and how he's out. So what do you think of that? That sucks. 3 ACLs in 3 years.
I felt so bad for the kid. Like I don't know in person, but I just feel bad. You never want to see a guy go out like that, especially with the win the week before, how he dominated. It completely guts you. I know he'll come back. It's just like now his body, how torn up his body is. The teams are going to look at him a little different. Like if he gets re-signed, right? Let's see what he gets re-signed with Honda. He can't afford to get injured again. And it's like he's put his body through so much stress. The surgeries, ACL is one of the worst injuries to recover from. And he has the speed, but it's like, how is he going to bounce back? I don't know. I hope he bounces back and get up front again, but he's got to be really careful, just like not get these, not put. I don't know. We didn't see the crash or like how it all happened. I don't know if it was because his leg got caught in a rut or he slipped and put it down on off camera. I'm not sure. Did you see how the crash went or no?
No, I haven't seen it, but it's strange. Some guys' knees just don't hold up. Dean Wilson just couldn't get through seasons without it. I
Right.
hope that doesn't become Chance Hyams' story, because when you watch him ride, he looks like one of the Lawrence brothers, the way he can go on certain tracks and do certain things.
Right.
And it's gonna suck if his knees completely hold him back. But I don't know, if I was a team, I wouldn't sign him to a more than a 1 year deal, because how do you just, what's he going to do? You can't trust those knees. And once you do two ACLs on one knee and then the other knee, then you start to lose all the cartilage. Like, at what point? I just, it's sad. It's a real bummer. I wish it would have been a different injury, or you don't want an injury in general, but you definitely don't want the same injury three times.
No, and he kept the season really exciting because he was the guy like, oh, he could beat Degan. Like, he was the only guy who had the pace to actually run with him and prove that, by qualifying faster at times, proved it by winning the motos. No one's been able to do that to Degan yet outdoors. So it is a bummer because now I feel like he's got it completely on lock. And, I don't think anyone really has a shot at Degan until Degan moves to 450. That will be really interesting. But besides that, I think if he stays healthy, stays off the ground, he's got this championship on lock. And not only like people, like one thing I like a lot about Degan is he has the speed. He kind of turns it up when he needs to. It kind of reminds me like a Villapoto, Ricky Carmichael style. But he is really consistent too. Like, he doesn't make those big mistakes from what we've seen. He's always up front. Like, a bad day for him, he's still going to be on the podium. He's not making silly mistakes. So he's really smart as well, like Jett, like in that wisdom of racing. And I bet that's also because of his upbringing, racing so much and hitting so many of the amateur rounds coming up, and his dad really guiding him.
Yeah, I would be a little bit worried if I was Star. And the thing about Hayden Deegan that I've noticed is when he is the dominant favorite, he almost gets bored. He needs some sort of a challenge. He needs to be mad at somebody. I would think if he's ever vulnerable, it's when he's happy and everyone says he should win. That's when I think he's most vulnerable. And I don't know. If I was Star Yamaha, I would go to him and I'd say, hey, do you want to ride 450 this year? If you can clinch the title, we'll let you ride a 450. Just give him something to like shoot for, to try and close it out 2 rounds early. That's what I would do if I were Star Yamaha. And I just want to make sure that I get the best Hayden Deegan every week. What do you think about that?
Right. I mean, every time we've seen him perform at his best when he was under pressure, from Supercross this season with Cole Davies. When we go back to last year's outdoors with Levi Kitchen and the rivalry, when we go back to Hunter Lawrence in that rivalry, like, he always rides his best under pressure and has proved that in the performances. And it's fun because it gets him going like, yo, I got to beat this guy. I gotta just click it up a notch. And that's good because he has that ego to be a champion. Like Alden Baker once said, you're either born with it. You're born with that grit and determination, or you're not. And I see Deegan as that guy. Like, he has that grit. He has that determination to be number one. And I think it's going to be really cool once he moves up to 450, because I think he's the only guy that could really give Jett a shot and potentially dethrone him.
Yeah, well, and you look at this year, he came into Supercross, and when Levi dropped out, it was like, oh, it's just going to be the Hayden Deegan show. He's going to win every round. And he didn't get fired up again until he got into it with Beaumare. So that's why I would, like, if I'm Star, I'm trying to find something to piss off my guy and make him fired up.
From what we've seen, though, like, do you think anyone's going to come close to him this round?
Not if he rides to his potential, but if you catch him sleeping, or you get the Hayden Deegan that was in Anaheim 1, you might. You never know. And that's the thing is, I don't know if he's fired up enough, and he'll probably go out there and go 1-1 and nobody will say anything. But I don't know. If I was those guys, I would be a little bit concerned because he is the overwhelming favorite. There is no rival that's giving him, getting him mad.
Sure.
I want something like that for him. So.
Yeah, we as the fans definitely do too. It's more fun to watch, when we see that. It's like, it kind of reminds you of UFC a little bit.
Oh, 100%. And they try to do that. And I love that. And you don't have to like Dean. You don't have to like what he says,
right,
but he's entertaining, and you can either love him or you can love to hate him, but you watch him.
Exactly. You watch him, and that's some of the greats do that, I'm not promoting trash talk or anything like that, but for entertainment purposes, it sells tickets, it sells shows, it gets the attention. People are talking, engaging with it in the comments. So he's smart, you know, like his dad is great at marketing. Like you see everything he's done, so you know a lot of it. I wonder how much of it is actually him and how much is actually like staged as well. You know what I mean?
I think most of it's him. I think there's a little bit that they kind of, but you can't when you manufacture it, it comes off unauthentic, and the guys don't handle it well. And as soon as it goes sideways, they don't want anything to do with it anymore. I think Hayden really genuinely enjoys it. And that's what I like. I tell people, like, listen, you can't manufacture. If you got a guy that doesn't like to talk and doesn't like to talk trash, don't make him talk trash, because it will look bad. It will come off wrong. But if you have someone that does, don't hold them back. Just let it go and just let it be entertainment. Let it be who they are.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fun to watch too. But those bikes sound crazy. I don't know if anyone's going there in person, but like those Star bikes, they're super bikes. Obviously, I don't even know what's in those motors, but I won't talk about that. But I will say they sound like a fire-breathing dragon. It's crazy when you hear those things in person. Like when I had my bike and then I heard that thing, I was like, sheesh. I was like, thing's crazy. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, you got disqualified for sound.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. But it's nuts. I would love to ride one of those bikes, honestly. That's like the one bike, if I could ride any bike out there, 250, that's the bike I'd want to ride.
It's crazy how Yamaha with that turned around motor has just owned that class for so long. And then Star took a regular Yamaha and just made it that much better. It's quite, but I mean, the other guys are kind of catching up, but I'm surprised nobody else has turned around their motor.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess like all the R&D and R&D, like everything it's going to take to get to that point. It's like, all right, if we do this and we do it wrong, now we're stuck with this for a certain amount of generations. Because like Yamaha did that a long time ago, and it's been quite the building block. Like at first, no one liked them, no one rode them. There was problems. They were fat. They were this. They didn't handle. They were, no one was really on board until it started to switch up after like the Dylan Ferrandez type era. Then people started to come back on.
Yeah, the 450, but I think the 250, because Jeremy Martin right off the bat was just killing it on that. As soon as they turned that one.
That's true. That one. Yeah, that was 2014, actually. You're right. That was a sick motor. That was the 2014 on, because I got one in 15 when I did Supercross. I had that bike, and that was sick. But it still didn't handle the same, but the motor was awesome.
And that's where it's important in the 250 class. Now the 450, that's why I was like, why are you doing that when you don't need more power on the 450, but the 250, it made more sense to me to turn that around. So if I was one of these teams, I'd be like, can we turn one around? Let's just give it a try. Who are some local guys in the 250 class that you think we should watch for?
Yeah. As I'm looking at this lineup, I like, I think Joe Tate's going to ride really good. He's a local. He's out of Connecticut. Grew up in the town close to me. He's ripping. He's riding really good. NESC. He was the defending champion NESC. So definitely watch out for him in 250. He should qualify, no problem. Be in there. My buddy Blake Ovitt will be out there. He does my suspension, so that'll be fun to watch him. I hope he does well. He hasn't done a national in a little bit. I believe he's coming off an injury.
Wait, your suspension guy's racing?
Yeah, my suspension guy, Blake Ovitt. He's a good friend of mine.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, he'll be out there. I'm looking at this lineup right now. Josh Pryor should go really good. He's qualified before. I've raced him a ton in the past. Like these guys, like I said, these are New England guys that should qualify or should be in there.
But dude, you got to remember, they're all going to be in that B practice, which is going to be fourth.
Right.
They're up against it.
It's possible though. I did it in 2016. I was fourth, and I did 250B qualifying. So I went out after the A. I just laid it down in that third lap, like right when the flag went green. I mean, I know it changed over the years, but that's what I did. So it's possible. You just have to do it right out of the gate. And I know these kids are gonna do good. Kyle Murdoch, he's riding really good right now too. He qualified like a position ahead of me last year, and he's riding really good in NESC. So I definitely suspect him to qualify. Yeah, there's a lot of good guys out there, a lot of locals that I'm rooting for. I'd like to see do well.
Yeah, when it comes to locals, this is probably the most fun race of the year, because it's like the old days, before the internet. I don't know where you guys all hide up there in the Northeast, but then all of a sudden you're so fast there. It's crazy. It's something that doesn't really exist anymore, but we still get it at Southwick.
I think a lot of these guys, are working, blue collar jobs. They're going to the races on the weekends, and then they're trying to hit the New England round. So that's probably why they're not doing all the rounds, like all the circuit. Because you know how it is. I'm sure a lot of these kids and these young adults, they want to, but it's just like, hey, I got to work and I got to do this, so I hit the rounds when I can. A lot of these guys do, but they especially excel at Southwick. So that's like their shot to get some against any of the factory guys like they have in the past. Like you remember Mike Satilli and Robbie Marshall and Jimmy Dakotas. I don't know if he's racing, but there's a lot of guys in the New England that just really rip at this track.
Well, and there's this history of you guys coming out of the woodwork. Pat Barton got third one moto or something.
Right.
That's where Henry and Dowd both
John
got
Dowd,
discovered.
yeah.
Do you still
Yeah.
talk to Henry much? What's he up to?
I talked to him a little bit earlier this year. I want to check in and follow up with him. He's such an awesome guy, super nice guy, and I know he's been I've been following and keeping up with some things. He's working hard on getting the national prep. Like I know him, Dowdy, Johnson, Treadwell. They've all been working really hard on prepping for the national. So like right before, like that month and everything before, they are just like working to make sure that it's at the standard that it needs with all the prep prior to it. But we chatted early this year. He was talking to me about potentially like being the pastor at some New England rounds and trying to figure out a solution to where I can go to the local rounds and talk to the guys. I didn't necessarily figure out the best course of action to do that yet, so we were still in contact, but we did talk about it, and yeah, he's doing good from what I've seen, but I definitely want to follow up with him and check in. Like Doug's such a great guy, like always has a smile on his face and super hard worker, one of the best guys in New England, like a New England legend, really, like him, Dowd, Johnson, like there's just some guys that are really good, and LaRusso as well. There's a lot of great guys out of here. And
Dude, I wouldn't even say New England legend. They're just legends. Like
Right.
they're motocross legends. I mean, Henry's got outdoor titles, supercross wins. I mean,
right.
I raced him in supermoto, and I've never been blown, like had somebody blow past me that fast that I really felt like I shouldn't be out there. It was crazy.
Right.
He went around me on the outside. I was like, I don't even know how you do that. Like,
Right.
I'm like, maybe I should just call it.
Yeah. I guess when I said legends, I just mean like from New England. It's cool to see those guys from our area rise to the top because it doesn't always happen, in this Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York area, like this tri-state area. And Justin Cooper is technically a part of that area too. I've ridden with him in the past back in Long Island Motorsports. It was like a really cool track out in Long Island back in the day, and I got some video ripping with him. I was able to be ahead of him like a little bit in the practice, then he got around me and pulled away, but it was fun doing a moto with him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, Matt, well, I don't want to keep you too long. I just wanted to get some
Sure.
Southwick preview stuff because I know that's your homegrown and check in and see how you're doing. Where can people find you and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on the show, Chris. It's always a blessing, always awesome to be here. And if people want to find me, easiest way is on Instagram, just at Matt Hammer, or on my YouTube channel, at Matt Hammer. And what I've been focusing on is my music and ministry simultaneously. So if you want to check me out on Spotify, really appreciate it. Just go to Matt Hammer. The music that I produce, probably not really what you're used to, not like the typical Christian music. It's alternative music. It's emo rap, it's metalcore, it's pop punk. So I'm really trying to bring in that unique sound to the Christian space and bring something in instead of the normal worship sound. But have good lyrics and everything else. But yeah, really just focused on music, ministry. That's where my heart is. And if people want to check it out, that's the easiest way. And yeah.
So what if we've got somebody in that New England area and they're kind of thinking about religion? Do you have a church they can attend? Like, what would somebody do if they're kind of, a lot of people are struggling out there. Well, how could somebody find you or one of your, what do they call it? Like the, what do they call it when you do is it sermon?
Yeah, sermon. Yeah. The easiest way right now where I'm doing all my devotionals and all my messages is on Instagram. Right now I'm coming up with the proper schedule for sermons, and I believe I'm going to start with live streaming and doing that like on the monthly. But my goal is to travel the country, go to churches, to preach the gospel, and then also to have my music intertwined with it, which I've done. I've had some performance. I've already performed this year, performed last year. So we're going to set up a tour as soon as we can and as soon as it makes sense. So I'm working on that as we speak. So I could tour, and I have a really cool setup. Like I'm bringing my dirt bike to the churches. I'm singing these songs and really have people listen to the word in a way that they haven't. And I'm also bringing like my firefighter gear, so I'm able to talk about a lot of different perspectives and backgrounds than a typical church pastor would.
Yeah, you're a firefighter, a motocross racer, a musician. quite the talented dude, Mr. Hammer. So
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. And like, it's always a blessing talking to you, being on the show. It's a lot of fun and love what you're doing with everything. And I continue to keep you in prayer. I want to see this show, everything succeed to where it's just like, it keeps going up and up and up because I really appreciate the honesty, and sharing, what you see. It's not, there's no one-sidedness. Like, hey, I'm just sharing what I see and what I think. So we really appreciate that.
well, thank you. I always try to keep like if I have an opinion and somebody can make another opinion, I will change. It's not like I'm married to these opinions. All I can promise people is you're going to get what I really think, and that's it. And
Right.
if you have more information, you can change my opinion. I'll absolutely change.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome job, Chris, like always. And yeah, I'll be watching Southwick, so I'm excited to keep tabs and everything. We'll be contacting.
Oh, before I let you go, I got to get your winners on the 250 class. Who do you got?
Sure. I got Degan number 1, I got Vial number 2, and then I got Shimoda number 3. That's my top
No
three.
Levi Kitchen in the podium.
Yeah, no. I think Shimoda's got a turnaround. I think, after Colorado, he's had speed. He just hasn't put it together quite yet. And I know Levi, I don't know where his fitness is. I don't know exactly where he's at still with coming off that injury, but Joe excels at this track. That's the only reason why I'm saying Joe here for third.
Yes, I'm going to go Deegan. I want to say Shimoda, but I just don't think he's going to have the starts in both motos. I feel like Levi Kitchen coming off the break, you get that, you get those first
Fresh.
few rounds in, and then you get like a rest. You come back, and I think we're going to see a lot better Levi Kitchen. I think we're going to see him battling. I got him second, and I would say Shimoda, Vial, 3-4, 4-3, right around there. So,
So wait. So you have Degan, Kitchen, then Vial?
yes, I say Vial, but I don't know. Him and Shimoda are so close. I see them swapping like 3-4 and 4-3. Whoever
Right.
gets third in the second moto will get the overall, but they're really going to be close. But I do see Levi Kitchen. I think he's going to be the clear number 2 this weekend. I think he's going to be the guy that will challenge Hayden the rest of this year like he was last year.
Right.
So,
No, I can see it. He has the speed. It's just like if he has that consistency to put it together. That's what I want to see out of Levi. But he's
Yeah.
got the speed for sure.
well, he just has to rebuild because he had that nasty crash at Daytona, which was terrifying.
That was absolutely brutal. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
That could have been so much worse, but I'm glad that he's back, and I think we're going to see him build, and I hope we see what we saw last year. So, all
do you
right,
got
my
for-
friend.
Wait, what do you got for 450 though? And
Oh, 450.
Yeah.
Jett, of course. I don't know how you can't pick against Jett. Like he's just too good. I'm going to go Jett, Eli, and I think I'm going to go Justin Cooper third. So,
Interesting pick. Interesting pick. Are you going to bet on them? Would you bet on them?
you know what? I bet last year. This year I didn't. I haven't bet. They kicked me off YouTube for talking about betting, so I haven't.
Oh wow.
Well, I promoted the site that was paying me when people would go over there. So somehow
Okay.
it's illegal to do that. So I haven't stayed up on it since I dropped that sponsor or whatever, or had to drop that sponsor. So,
Okay. Yeah, we won't talk about betting then. Don't want to.
well, we can talk about it. We just can't promote the site, and that's where I got in trouble. So,
Sure.
but since I'm not promoting the site, I just lost track of it. It wasn't as fun to talk about. So,
I see.
but
I see. No, I mean, J. Coop could do it. This is a round where he could. It's tough, They're all playing musical chairs up there. AP, Hunter, J. Coop, like they're all right there in that third spot, really.
yeah, there's 3 guys that are. You could tell me any of those 3 guys would be on the podium. I'm like, okay, seems like a reasonable argument. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, it'll be good. I mean, you can't bet against Jett until he loses. So I would definitely do the same. I do Jett first. I put Eli second, but I would put Hunter third. I think he's going to be in the top 3 again. Especially, he's got to be so bummed after losing that that high point round to his brother, like just getting it taken from him again. So I think he's gonna rip here.
Oh, and he lost his chance too because he couldn't make a run. I mean, I don't think he was going to catch Eli, but to have it taken from you like that before it was over, oh, that's got to be frustrating. So frustrating. It's crazy that Hunter Lawrence has never had an overall win.
It is pretty crazy, and he's phenomenal. Like he's so good. It's just Jett's just had that edge on him, unfortunately. But it's bound to happen. It will happen. Like the one of these rounds will line up where he gets that overall.
Yeah, you can't get second and third all the time without one of these days somebody has a mistake and you get it.
Right. It has to happen. We just don't know when. You could say the same for AP. It could have like the same thing. We just don't know when.
Yeah. So
But cool.
okay, awesome, brother. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it, and we will catch you later.
Thank you, Chris.